Hi, this is Christina with 307 Realty Professionals. I'm here today with Celsie Sussex at Bear Mountain Beef, and today we are spotlighting Bear Mountain Beef. So Celsie, go ahead and briefly explain to me what you guys do out here, what this facility is about, all the things.
Sure. So we opened and started processing in 2021. We do beef and sheep and hogs and lambs and goats and all the things. So we do a little bit of everything. Our specialty is beef. We have about 13 employees who we could not do any of these things without. They are fantastic.
So 13 employees, you said?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yep. Yeah. And they all range from 23 up to in their 40s. So it's a pretty wide range of folks from the community.
Have you struggled trying to find employees for the business?
Absolutely, at different times. Right now we've kind of stabilized. We have some good folks that have been with us since the beginning. So we're pretty darn lucky to have some really good people with us right now.
When did you guys open? What was the process for that? And how did you get to where you are today?
Sure. So right before COVID, we were hauling cattle 300 plus miles to be processed. We would have cattle in Casper and cattle in Colorado, and we were just doing our best to kind of meet the need of people needing meat locally. And it got to the point where we couldn't get processing appointments. And then COVID hit and there was no meat on the shelves. So we decided at that point it was time to probably do something different and just go ahead and start our own, which we had no idea at the time it would be such a huge undertaking, but here we are.
You guys have your own farm and ranch?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And we have a small herd of cattle. We sold down quite a bit just because this keeps us so busy that we don't have as much time for that kind of thing. But yeah, we do raise our own cattle and we do our best to source everything we supply locally. So local ranchers and feedlots and stuff like that.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I could see how you are just like nonstop busy.
Yeah, we are here all the time.
What was that process like? Like once you had the idea that this is what you wanted to do, you saw a lack for it in the community, what was the first action you had to take?
So first of all, finding a location, which is never easy for anything that you do. We were in talks with Bear Mountain Station about putting it down there beside them in that shop. And that didn't really work out, but somehow in the process, there was some folks traveling through and they met Dave and Dave connected us with them and they ended up being our business partners. So Roger and Vicki and Chad and Nicole Uthmann from Colorado are our business partners and they helped us build the whole facility. They've done a lot of things to help back us up. So that's been really cool. And that was a huge step in the process. So then we decided that we would just build it here on our own ground. And that was cool because then security wise and things, we were feeling a little better about it. So we started the process of like the foundation and everything in June. We were up and running by December.
And this is 2020?
2021 is when we actually started running, but it was all through 2020. So we fought COVID shortages, we fought price increases, all the things. So we got up and running in December. We only had a few staff. We were only doing like one head a day, if that. So that was pretty crazy. So once we got all that done and everything, the building was up, we were ready to go. We bought these pre-made units from Friesla in Washington and they're pre-USDA-inspected. So they came in and we set them in place and we pretty much hooked up the electrical and the plumbing and went to town.
And we talked a little bit about like where you got them from. Can you explain the purpose of these units and why you decided to go this route instead of just having an open facility where you process?
Yeah, so to be USDA inspected, there's a lot of requirements, specifically in the building side and like what materials you have to use and how things have to be placed and things like that. So these units were already built and pre-USDA inspected to our specifications in our building. So basically we came in and they had written our safety plans and everything to match our units. And they came and looked at everything from USDA and said, yep, you're good to go. Everything's good. So it was a much quicker turnaround time. It was much more price effective as well as just us trying to build it and not knowing what we're doing. So it was really nice. And we continue to have great support from the company, you know, as far as if equipment breaks or we need support in some area, we just call and they help us or send someone out.
So do they send someone out?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. They'll come from Washington if we need them. So.
And how long does that take usually?
You know, it kind of depends on the issue. Sometimes it's a couple weeks, but they're pretty good about helping us in any way they can.
These containers are very sanitary and more of a controlled space, so that makes it nice for keeping
insect
things clean.
control, climate control, everything is very monitored as far as our paperwork and stuff goes with all those things.
Can you break down the process of from animal being brought here to like that entire process to being packaged and into your cooler?
Sure. So at the time of drop off, we need brand inspection papers so that they can say, yep, this is my animal. We also ask for an antibiotic release, so making sure that that animal is not on withdrawal and is safe for human consumption. It comes into us on the kill floor where they will, clean it all up, take the skin off, take the head off. Then USDA likes to look at the organs and the head to make sure it's safe. From there, it goes to our rapid chiller. So overnight, it chills down to 40 degrees, and that's a safety measure as well, just keeping the carcasses clean and cool. After 14 days of hang, then it goes into the processing room where they break it down into primals, and then they follow your cut sheet. So whatever cuts you want, they'll cut it the way you want it, and then it is vacuum sealed so you can see into the bags. We do our best to do portion control, so like exactly 1 pound of ground beef, those kinds of things. And then it goes to the freezer at -13 for a couple of days before it's picked up.
So we looked in that freezer and everything is stored in milk crates. Can you explain what the purpose of that is?
So the milk crates just allow for airflow. So basically it cools down a lot faster and it freezes harder so that when you're taking it home, you don't have to worry about it thawing out.
You mentioned the USDA, that there is someone that oversees that you guys are doing all the things that you need to do. So is there someone on staff that you guys hired, or who?
So USDA supplies an inspector for us. He is here all week as long as we're killing and processing. He hangs out with us. We don't pay for him to be here. He is paid by the federal government unless he goes into overtime. And then we pay the overtime hours. But basically, he oversees all of the cleanliness, all of the animal handling. He checks our paperwork to make sure we're doing things the way we need to. He does his own sampling to make sure that the products are safe, those kinds of things. We also do our own sampling, like you saw on the cubes out there. So we sample just to make sure our cleanliness is up to par. And then we also do meat samples that we send off to the university. And they check and just make sure that there's no pathogen growth or anything like that.
You not only butcher cattle, but you do pigs as well.
Yep.
And we kind of discussed this before. You also are offering wild game processing too?
No, we don't do any wild game processing right now. Mostly because our schedule's too tight. We just really don't have space to accommodate it. And a lot of times processors will shut down right through those hunting months. And for us, fair time is really big. So we really can't shut down those months because we have a lot of folks that come to us for fair animals.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. What does the future look like for Bear Mountain beef?
Gosh, it's hard to say. We are working really hard to expand a little bit. We would love to add a smokehouse to our list of things that we do. Right now, as far as pigs and stuff go, we just do like a dry cure on our bacons and our hams and those kinds of things. But we would really like to get into the smoking side. That is kind of in the works. We've also kicked around a commercial kitchen so that we could do like some pre-made products, some cooking tallows, things like that, so that we have another line of things that could go out.
There's kind of endless possibilities with it, and I love that direction too, because I think there's a lot of people who are interested in people are starting to get really into the tallow and the health benefits that come from cooking with it, and even using it as skincare.
And in the past, it's just been a throwaway product. A lot of our stuff, almost everything that we throw away goes to compost. So that's a great thing too. It's good for the local folks that need compost, but it's also kind of a throwaway product. And I'm glad to see people starting to use it more.
How many cows would you say that you process daily?
So it depends on the day. Right now we're 25 head a week is what we do. And that's just the cattle part. So if we have smaller species, we mix those in as well. The most we've done probably in a week is close to 30. And pigs wise, we've probably done 25 in a few days, which is crazy. I mean, we're working like crazy, but it's kind of fun. It's a different change of pace for us.
Sure. Yeah. Because there's different cuts and like you're dealing with
sausage and bacon and all the fun things.
So do you have to plan, like if you have pigs that you need to butcher, is there a specific day you cut out? Because everything probably has to be cleaned and prepped for that.
So we can do multi-species on the same day. We just have to do a hot wash in between them to make sure everything is clean. We try to plan it so that most of the time we do beef one day and smaller species a different day, just because there's a lot of extra time that goes into making the sausage and all the ingredients and all the things. So we try not to mix just for our staff's sanity.
Sure, because they're like, wait, what?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we can do them all in one day if we have to.
You said hot wash. What does that mean?
So our water gets up to 180 degrees in all of our hoses down here. So anytime we have a need to clean like that, we'll just do a really, really hot wash on all our equipment and make sure it's really clean. Sometimes depending on the day, they might add soap too, just to be really careful, like if we're making sausage or bacon or some of those kinds of things. But we do make sure that it's very clean in between.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen, not that I've toured many facilities before, but it is very clean.
Yes.
Like I was very impressed at how organized everything is and the whole process. Very blown away.
Yeah.
Now, do you have like a cleaning crew or a specific department, or everybody just jumps in and does it?
Everybody kind of has their own jobs on both sides and they just hop in and do their job. A lot of times the person that oversees that room decides who cleans what. On the kill floor, those guys usually just clean whatever space they work in that day. And we just kind of do it that way. In the mornings before we start, there is a pre-operation form that they go through and check that everything is clean. And if it's not, then they re-clean it. So we make sure that everything is super clean. And then a lot of mornings, USDA will go walk through and be sure that, our cleanliness standards meet his.
So you've been operating for about 4 years now, is that right?
Yep.
What are some challenges that you've faced since opening?
The tough part for us is always the cattle market. It's super high right now. So it's tough for people to justify wanting to butcher cattle when they can take them to the sale barn. And it is so crazy what they're getting. Secondly, of course, we always have the issue with inflation of products and shipping costs and those kinds of things, which we've tried really hard to not raise our prices. And we're proud that we haven't in 2 years. We've been level. So we're making it work with what we've got and trying to make it affordable for our customers as well. And then, of course, you always have the staffing issues that sometimes you're going to lose people and then you have to retrain. But that's one thing that we've taken measures to avoid having problems with. And we have set up a training course, not just for our staff, but to bring in other people that want to learn the trade that we do. So we have a processing and a slaughter floor class that people can come and take with us and hang out and learn all the things that we do.
And is that just open to anyone in the community or anyone anywhere?
Anyone who wants to take it.
Do you guys charge for that service?
Yes, we do. And we do have a breakdown of the prices on our website because you can kind of custom tailor your needs to what our classes offer.
Wow. So you can pick and choose which.
Yeah.
Wow.
So if you wanted to come learn processing and how to sharpen a knife, those are all things that we can do. You can kind of pick and choose. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that you guys do that because I think there are a lot of people that like to learn that skill, or I think it's a good skill to know.
Sure. Even if you just want to process wild game,
right?
It'd be cool to know some of these things. So
yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
So we talked, since we're on that topic, you mentioned you have students that come in that want to have a career in becoming a butcher or potentially having their own. Is it appropriate to say butchery? How would you?
Sure. Yeah, I think you could call it that. So we've had several different customers come through. A couple weeks ago, we had some folks from California that are starting their own plant out there because the cost of having a beef processed out there is insane.
Really?
So it's a son and a father, and they came through and they're kind of looking to do their own thing. We have some folks on the other side of the state, the Beck Ranch, that they're just building their processing facility, and they've been here several times. We've had just a couple singles coming through that just wanted to learn the trade and see where they could get jobs. Right now we have a young guy that's in there learning how to process and do the cuts and all the things. So
that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So how long are these courses, like for your student that's coming in?
Sure.
How long?
So you can tailor that. So if you want to stay 2 weeks and just learn one side of it, you can. If you want to stay 4 weeks and learn both sides of it, we recommend at least 2 weeks on each side, which you can break that up over several different visits if you want to.
Mhm.
But that way you get really the basics drilled in before you head on to the next side. Because really a week is not enough time to learn unless you kind of
Right.
have a background in it.
Mhm.
So the 2 weeks we found seems to be a pretty good amount of time for them to learn all the things that they need to know.
What does that process look like? If someone wants to become a butcher, what are the standards, or is there any kind of?
Not necessarily. I mean, it's kind of going to be what you want to get out of it and what position you want to fill, because every job in this place is so different.
Sure.
You know, you have to have a different set of skills to do things on the kill floor versus things on the processing side. So it really is tailored to that specific person and what they want to learn.
What's been the biggest challenge you've faced so far?
I would say probably the economy. Just as a whole, since COVID, it's been so up and down and all over the place that you just never really know what to expect. And as far as that goes, you know, the cash flow portion of all of this is always hard, just like any small business. But we are very vulnerable to the cattle markets and the markets in general, because our products are always fluctuating too. You know, we're going to pay more for shipping 1 week than the next, or we're going to pay more for a fat steer 1 week than the next. So then you're always just kind of having to ride the tide of where's the economy going this week. And like I said, we've tried so hard to keep our prices very level so that it's affordable for folks and they want to come back.
Yeah. With the meat that you do sell, where do you sell it at?
So we have a little storefront here at the plant in Hawk Springs, or you can go down to Home on the Range in Torrington, 2016 Maine, and they just opened the meat market down there last week. So we have a little variety of products in both places. You can get ground beef, steaks, roasts. We do make specialty brats and beef bacon and some fun little things like that. So both of those places stock all of our products. The one in Hawk Springs has Josie's Creamery ice cream right now too. And it is awesome. We will be taking it to Torrington, but we're not there just yet. So
where's that creamery located?
They're over in Carpenter. So they're also local and they have the best ice cream around.
I'm a huge ice cream nut. I probably eat it every night.
Yep.
I would love to try some of that. What would you say is your most popular product right now?
Right now, it's usually ground beef or beef bacon.
And what do you charge per pound for your beef?
So we're $6.50 a pound for the ground beef. The steaks kind of fluctuate. You know, it depends on what cut you're looking for. But yeah, we try to keep it as reasonable as we can. And we have a lot of super good customers. So we're excited to be back in Torrington.
I love that.
Yeah.
And this is all your cattle, right? That you're butchering and
and same with the hogs. We try to do local hogs. Paul Case is somebody that we buy hogs from quite a bit. He does a great job with products. We still do some bulk hogs and bulk beef if people want that.
You're so knowledgeable about everything that happens here and the whole process, which is very, I don't even have words for it. I'm just so blown away of like the whole thing. I had tried not to have any expectations of any of this, and I've been pleasantly surprised. And
Thank you.
I wish you guys the best of luck. Is there anything else that you want to mention?
We're having an open house down at Home on the Range. It will be June 20th and 21st from 10 to 5, and we're going to do some sidewalk sales. So we'll have some great specials. Clothes, shoes, home goods, and we'll probably do some fun samples too. So if you want to try some products, come on out, check us out.
Awesome. Last thing, where can people find you? You said you had a website.
Yep. Yeah. BearMountainBeef.com. You're always welcome to stop by out here and visit with us too. Give Ashley a call down in the office. She will help you with anything you need.
Perfect. And do you have a Facebook page too?
We do. Yes. Follow us on Facebook. We also do Instagram. So
Awesome.
check us out. The biggest thing that I feel like people don't understand about us most of the time is that we process for other people and not just ourselves. And that's a pretty frequently asked question is, well, I thought you just processed for yourselves. And we don't. I mean, we'll process for anybody. So that was one thing that people don't seem to always know.
Perfect. Well, I can't thank you
Awesome.
enough for letting me come
Thank
here
you.
and tour. And
I love that you're doing these. This is so cool.
thank you. I hope that it will bring the community closer together and really shed some light on this next generation coming up and taking over existing businesses or businesses that have been, established for a long time, or people that are just really breaking new ground, which is terrifying.
It is, and it's hard. It is such a hard thing to do.
What's one of the things that has really kept you motivated and grounded in this process?
Probably my children and just securing a future for them, and whether it's, if they want to do this, that's cool. If they don't want to do this, then at least they have something stable that's backing them to do what they want.
Absolutely. And I love that. I think it's super important to have that why in what you do, because that will ground you every time. Like, why am I doing this? And you guys have fantastic morals and goals with this. I think you're going to do well. And this is just definitely the beginning for you guys.
I hope so. You never know. You just jump in and hope that it goes.
Right. I think sometimes you
faith.
have to, because a lot of the time people are like, I have to have all my ducks in a row before I do this, and I got to make sure this is covered so everything's perfect, and it's just never going to be perfect.
It's never going to be like that. And that's the one thing that we were both kind of like, well, we need to do this business and we know we need to do it, but how are we going to do it? And then everything just fell in front of us and fell into place, and we were like, well, okay, I guess this is an open door. So here we are.
Yeah, and I think that's a very good sign that you're doing exactly what you need to do and you're on the right path.
Yep.
And sometimes that's what happens.
Yep.
That's what happens is you have a good enough belief system in yourself and the need for it, and then that's seen.
You just get the shove in the direction you need to go.
And then those other pieces fall into place. As long as you got a good foundation, then the rest comes. So
absolutely.
This has been amazing, and I hope we can do this again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, I'm here with Celsie Sussex. Maybe Matt can join us next time.
Yeah, that would be good.
Or your kids, or however.
Yes.
I'm Christina Houck with 307 Realty. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for the next episode of Storefront series.